Hey guys, and welcome back to another video. And in today's video we are going to talk about advanced spreadsheet software skills. But before we do that, do not forget to like, share, and comment down below regarding this video if you have any questions, suggestions, and comments that you want to tell me. So without being said, let us start this lesson. So before we go to the advanced skills that we are going to use in a spreadsheet software, let us first talk about what a spreadsheet software is. So what you are seeing right now in our video is an example of a spreadsheet software. So a spreadsheet software allows user to organize data in rows and columns and performs calculations on the data. These rows and columns are collectively called a worksheet. So what you are seeing right now in your screen is what we call a worksheet. So there are a lot of examples of spreadsheet software. We have the LibreOffice Calc, the OpenOffice.org Calc, we have Google Sheets, we have Apple iWork Numbers, Kingsoft Office Spreadsheet, Star Office Calc, and what we are going to use for today, Microsoft Excel. So Microsoft Excel is a spreadsheet application by Microsoft that it released for Windows, Mac OS, Android, and iOS. So it has graphing tools, pivot tables, micro-programming, and of course the basic functions of a spreadsheet. Now that you are familiar with Microsoft Excel and what spreadsheet software does, let us now talk about some technical terms in Microsoft Excel that you need to know in order for the discussion to be more easier to understand and follow through. So let us start. First off, we are going to talk about rows and columns. So basically, rows and columns are collections of arranged cells or tiny rectangles. The rows, as we can see here, are the horizontal line of entries in the table, while the column, on the other hand, are the vertical line of entries on a table. Rows and columns, as well as worksheets, are composed of tiny rectangles that we call cell. A cell is the place where information or data is held on a spreadsheet. When we click a cell, it will display a highlight of green, meaning that it is an active cell. So when we click our cells, it turns it into an active cell, meaning that we can edit, modify, or place data inside of that cell. We also have what we call a column heading and the row heading. As we can see up top, we have a row of letters, and this is what we call a column heading. It is the box at the top of each column containing a letter. And of course, the row heading are the column of numbers that we see right here on the side of your screens. We also have what we call a cell reference. Basically, a cell reference is the name of an active cell that we have selected. So all of these cells have their own names, and we get those names, or what we call cell reference, depending on what column heading and row heading it falls into. Say, for example, we click this cell right here, making it an active cell. We can see that it is under age 9, meaning that the cell reference of this active cell is what we call age 9. We can also see the cell reference on the top left corner of Microsoft Excel. We have what we call formulas and functions. So the difference between formulas and functions is formula is an expression which calculates the value of a cell, while functions, on the other hand, are predefined formulas that are already available in Excel. We do not need to actually define the formulas ourselves. We can just use the function for our work to be easier and faster. We can put formulas and function in what we call a formula bar. It is the bar on the top of Microsoft Excel that displays the content of the cell. Let's say, for example, we place data here in column E3, let's say 1, 2, 3. we can see the content of it right here in the formula bar. Now that we have talked about the different key terms that we are going to use in this discussion, let us now go to the next part of this lesson, which are the basic math functions. So the basic math functions include functions for addition, multiplication, and division. We will also talk about the formula for doing subtraction in Microsoft Excel. So let's get started. So for this discussion, we have here a table that I have created to give you examples on how we can use the basic math functions in Microsoft Excel. First off, let us talk about addition. So in Microsoft Excel, we have two ways on how we can approach addition. So we have sum x and y and sum range. The difference between sum x and y and sum range is that in sum x and y, we actually need to manually input the cell references of all the cells that we want to include in that formula. So basically, if we want to do it, we just type in equal sum, open parenthesis, and then we will be putting the sum references of all the numbers that we want to add. Say, for example, we want to add in the first 3 digits in this table. We just put the cell reference of those 3 numbers, and they must be separated by a comma. So in this case, we will start in E8, E8, comma, E9, comma, E10. Close parenthesis, and when we press enter, we will get the summation of all these 3 numbers. There we have it. So that is for sum x and y. Now for the sum range, we will not be needing to put all the cell references of the cells that we want to use. We just need to put the cell references of the first and the last cell that we want to include in our formula. Say, instead of putting them one by one, we go like sum, open parenthesis, E8, and this time, instead of using comma, we are going to use a colon, signifying that we are getting the sum of the numbers from cell E8 up to, now let's just say E13. E13. Now, as you can see, the whole thing has been selected, and when we press enter, we will get its sum. Next up, multiplication. Basically, addition and multiplication have basically the same way of approach. All we need to do is just change the keyword or the function that we need to use. So in this case, we are going to use the keyword product. So just type in equals product. And again, we have product x and y and product range. So like we did in addition a while ago, we can put manually the cell references of all the cells that we want to multiply, or we can just put in the range of cells that we want to use. So in this case, I will just be using product range. So let's just type in G8 colon G13, and as we press enter, we can see that all of these cells are now being multiplied. And there you go. That is the product. So for division, we only have one way of doing it, and that is quotient x and y. So to do it, we just type in equals quotient and the cell references of the 2 numbers that we want to divide. In this case, I8, comma, I9. Close parenthesis, enter, and there you go. Now, in subtraction, unfortunately, we do not have a function called difference. So what we do here is we type in the cell reference and put a hyphen before putting the other cell reference. So to do that, we just type in equals and then put in the cell reference of the first number that we want to subtract, type in hyphen, and then type in the next cell reference. So as you can see, they are both highlighted. First one in blue, second one in red, signifying that this is the first number and the other one is the second number. Now, when we press enter, we can see that it will be subtracted. So 55 will be subtracted from 29. And there we have it. That is how we subtract in Microsoft Excel. Moving forward, we now go to the other functions of Microsoft Excel that we can use in our formulas. First off, let us talk about average. Now, as we all know, to get the average of certain numbers, we need to get the summation of all the numbers and then divide it by how many those numbers are. But in Microsoft Excel, we just need to type in a function that we call average. So to get the average of all of these numbers, we just need to type in this function. So in this case, we type in the cell reference of F25 up to F29. So we do it like equals average, open parenthesis, F25 colon F29. Close parenthesis, and as we press enter, we can see that it gets the average of all of these numbers. Moving forward, we also have what we call square root. Now, we all know what square root is. Basically, when we use this function, we get the square root of a certain number inside that cell. So to do this, we just type in equals sqrt, open parenthesis, and we just get the cell reference of the number we want to get the square root of. So in this case, G25. And as we press enter, we can see that the result will be its square root. Now we can do this for all of these numbers, and you can see that we are getting its square root. So what I did there is just copy pasted the formula for all these cells. There you go. Next up, we have what we call concatenate. Now, when we concatenate things, it means that we link together these certain things or texts or numbers so that they are presented in a string of text. So if we concatenate all of these texts, we will get a whole sentence saying this is a concatenated text. So to do that, we just type in equals concatenate, and then we just type in the cell references of all of these texts, and we will separate them by a comma. So in this case, we just get I25, comma, I26, 27, 28, I28, and lastly I29. And then when we enter, we will get the sentence, this is a concatenated text as a result. Let me just extend this one, and there we go. We have this as a result of concatenation. Moving forward, we have also a function that would determine if a number is odd or even. And this is what we call the function isOdd or isEven. So to do that, we just need to type in equals isOdd, open parenthesis, and of course, we just put in the cell reference of the cell that we want to know if it's odd or even. And it will return true if it's an odd number or false if it's an even number. So in this case, it returned false because we used the function isOdd. Now, if we want it to return true to check if it's an even number, we just put in isEven instead of isOdd. There we go. So we can try this one here as well. IsOdd. odd. Of course, this will return as true because 13 is an odd number. See? So if we change it to 6, of course, it will uh, display as false. Now, moving forward, we also have what we call the text or number. Microsoft Excel also has a way on detecting if the data inside of a cell is a text or is a number. So that can be done using the function isText or isNumber. So to do that, we just type in equals isNumber, open parenthesis, and of course the cell reference where the data we want to check is in. So in this case, it will display the result of true because 5 is a number. Just press enter. So if we change it to letter A, of course, it will show false. There we go. So to check if a data inside the cell is a text, on the other hand, we just type in equals isText. Open parenthesis and then get the cell reference or type in the cell reference and then just press enter. So of course, this one is a text, not a number. But if we change this one, let's say to a number, this will change into false. Okay. So what if the data inside of a cell is a combination of a letter and a number? Now, Microsoft Excel only considered a data inside the cell to be a number if it only contains a number. So if there is any other character inside of that cell that isn't a number, it will not consider it as a numerical value. Say for example, if we check if this one is a number, it will return, of course, false. But if we check it as a text, is text, it will return the value of true because we have here another content which is not a number. But if we remove this content, it is considered to be a numeric value. So that is how isText and isNumber works on Microsoft Excel. Moving forward, we also have what we call the if-else statements. Now, the if-else statements are used to check whether a cell satisfies a condition or not. If it satisfies the condition, of course, it will return true, or if not, it will return a value of false. So let's say, for example, we have a grocery store and we are selling fruits. Now, we want Microsoft Excel to notify us if we need to restock our products when they reach a quantity below 10. So we can use if-else statements to automate that function. Say, for example, here we have only 7 apples left. We want Microsoft Excel to display here that reorder is needed. So how can we do that? We do it by typing equals if, open parenthesis, and we test the logic. So we type in the cell reference of 7, which is F33, and put in the less than sign. If F33 is less than 10, then what will we do? Comma. What if it's true? Now, after the comma, we need to type in the result that it will display when this logical test becomes true. So we just type here reorder product. Remember that we need to enclose it inside double quotes because it is a text. Now, after that, we just place another comma, and now we type the value that it will return if it did not satisfy the condition. Now, if it's false, we just type in sufficient stocks left. And as we press enter, we will see that it will return a value of true or reorder product because F33 has a value of 7 and 7 is less than 10. So if you press enter, we can see it will display reorder product. Now, if I copy paste the solutions to other cells, we can see that it returned the value of sufficient stocks left and reorder products depending on the quantity of the products that we have. Say, for example, oranges goes below 10, it will change into reorder product. That is how if-else statements work in Microsoft Excel. Moving forward, we have what we call today and now. Today and now is used to display the current date and current time in Microsoft Excel. So if we type in equals today and press enter, it will display the date today. Now, if we use now equals now, open and close parenthesis, it will display the current date and the current time today. So that is today and now. Pi, of course, will return the value of pi, which is 3.14 equals pi, open parenthesis, and there you have it. It did return a value of 3.14159 and etc. LEN or len is used to determine the number of characters inside of a cell. Say, for example, in here we have 6 numbers. We just type in equals len, open parenthesis, and then just place the cell reference of these cell. We get a value of 6 because we have 6 numbers in here. Now, moving forward, we have also min and max. Now, min and max are used to get the smallest number and the largest number in a range of cells. So minimum is for getting the smallest number, and maximum or max is used to get the biggest number in the group. So to use that, we just put in equals minimum or min for minimum, open parenthesis, and we just select the range of cells that we want to use. In this case, M25, M35. Close parenthesis, and we press enter. Now, as you can see, 90 is the smallest number in the range, so it displayed 90. If we change it to, let's say, 89, then it will change into 89. Now, for maximum, it's just the same, only we change the keyword to max instead of min. We type in equals max, and then we get the range of cells. Press enter, and there we have it. The biggest number has been shown in here, which is 99. So there we have it. Today we have talked what a spreadsheet software is. We have talked about the different key terms or parts of Microsoft Excel. We talked about the basic math functions as well as the other functions of Microsoft Excel. So if you like this video, do not forget to please like, share, and of course subscribe to this channel for more videos like this. Also, please comment down below if you have any comments, suggestions that you want to tell me. So that is it for this video, and as always, thank you very much and goodbye.